Welcome back, everybody, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and before I start this replay, I've actually got a couple of announcements to make. One regarding 1.5 and the way it's going to be released, basically. As you all know, I'm playing kind of an early alpha build of 1.5, but the next beta build, the next in-dev beta build, is going to be a public release, which is going to be really cool because it means you guys are going to get it pretty much the same time as we are, and you guys are going to get to play with us. There's going to be big events that we've already got planned, so it should be a lot of fun for everybody. The second announcement actually has to do with my channel. I know probably the weakest point of my channel right now is my upload frequency. I only upload like once a week. That's really kind of pitiful. So what I'm going to try and do is start doing kind of shorter, kind of smaller 1v1 videos kind of throughout the week. They're still going to be the big epic like 3v3s and the sieges and all that stuff, but kind of through the week, hopefully I'm going to be able to do some kind of shorter battles. I'm going to try and do at least one extra video a week at first and try and wean myself into maybe every other day. So that should be a lot of fun for you guys. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the reason why you guys are actually here, and that's to watch little dudes kill each other. But Richard over here is going to be playing as Brettonia, and his opponent is going to be Spyfly123. This is a sent-in battle replay by Richard. But over here for Spyfly's army, he's got a few units of Thunderers in front, about 3 of them. He's got about 4 units of Dwarf axes. He's got some Longbeards with axes as well. He's got some units of Troll Slayers. He's got some Elders. Up here, it looks like he's got about 4 units of Corlers in very tight formation. He's got some Grudge Throwers, about 2 units of those, a unit of Iron Drakes, some Long Drawings Slayer Pirates, and I don't think he's got anything else. I think that is going to be his whole army. He's very bunched up here. That's kind of how Dwarves have to play right now. They're very weak against cavalry, so he's got to be very careful against playing Brettonia. Excuse me, fellas. Over here, we got Brettonia, played by Richard. He's got about 2 units of Questing Knights, 1 on each flank. He's got a bunch of Men-at-Arms Spearmen, about 4 units of these. He's got a couple units of Battle Pilgrims, 4 units of Peasant Bowmen. He's got 2 units of Trebuchets. He's also got a couple units of Men-at-Arms Swordsmen. He's got a unit of Grail Knight in the back and some Knights of the Realm Bodyguard. So that's pretty much going to be his force. He's bringing very kind of heavy build based around infantry and a lot of range units. All these Peasant Bowmen and Trebuchets are going to be serious. He's not bringing very much cav. Only 4 units of cav for Brettonia is almost heresy, but we'll see how this plays out. Alright guys, well, let's go ahead and start the battle because it does start off pretty quickly. But you see over here, Richard's already starting to throw in Trebuchet shots into Spyfly's lines, taking a bunch of these Dwarf axes out. It looks like he hit some more of these Thunderers over here as well, and we will see what Spyfly does, because it looks like right now Richard's got the ranged advantage. Looks like Spyfly is moving his Grudge Throwers over as well. He's trying to get these guys firing as soon as he can. And here they go. They're gonna load these catapults up. And these guys are actually pretty scary. They don't have explosive ammo like these Trebuchets do. They just come in and just look at that. Look at that! Those are Elders, those are multiple HP units. And so are these Troll Slayers. Just hammering his lines with those Trebuchets. Look at this destruction. Spyfly's bunched upness right here is really kind of coming to bite him in the butt. Because, yeah, that's something you really got to avoid when fighting against kind of any kind of faction that's got really good artillery. You've got to watch out for. You want to spread out and spaghetti line. But kind of the flip side to that coin is you become a lot more vulnerable to cav charges, and that's something that Brettonia excels at. They've got, oh my god, look at this. The Iron Drakes are getting just murdered. The Quarrelers are getting just hammered as well. This is not going well for the Dwarves at all. The Dwarves have lost already about 14% of their whole army. It looks like Spyfly has moved his Thunderers up a little bit, but they are receiving a lot of shots, or a lot of kind of suppressing fire from those Peasant Bowmen. Another shot coming in, taking out some of these Elders as well. Another shot coming in for the Trebuchets. It is just Trebuchet time over here. But the Thunderers are going to be firing in, however. You see some of the Grudge Thrower, the Grudge Thrower catapults firing in. Here they go. They're about to unleash another volley. The thing about the Grudge Thrower ammunition, though, is it actually bounces. So if he has kind of lines set up one after the other, that'd be a really good target to attack. But over here, we have a melee engagement starting. We got the Dwarf Axes and the Men-at-Arms Swordsmen going at it. Looks like some Longbeards with axes are coming in. Only a few of the units are charging in, however. I do know that's kind of an issue with Medieval 2. Like, I think the way it works is some of these Longbeards don't actually have a prime target when they charge in because there are so many other units in the way. Actually, it looks like these Dwarf Axes are routing at 24. That's fairly healthy for axes to be routing at. Another shot coming in for the Grudgebringer, doing a little bit of damage there, but it may have not done any damage to any of these peasant bowmen. Okay, over here, looks like Richard's coming in with his questing knights. He's going in for a really nice pincer maneuver on both flanks. He's going to hit both of these Thunderers, do a lot of damage to them, and this is bad for Spyfly. He's losing his range units. He's taking a lot of hits from these trebuchets. But what that's actually going to do... Actually, no, these Corlers are not in range yet. It's going to be problematic. If he can get these Corlers in range and start hitting some of these cav units, he can do a lot of damage. I do know those crossbowmen have quite a bit of a punch to them, so he can do a bit of damage there. Really good illustration of the bouncing Grudge Thrower ammo right there, and some good shots coming in from the Iron Drakes as well. Looks like the Grudge Throwers are starting to come in, doing a little bit more damage to these Men-at-Arms Spearmen, since now they're a little more bunched up. The ammunition is kind of bouncing through the lines. I think there is a little bit of friendly fire that's happening, though, against some of these Troll Slayers, but I think Troll Slayers are unbreakable. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen them break. This Trebuchet is taking a lot of damage, actually, directly to the Trebuchet unit, or to this actual individual Trebuchet here, and it's going to break. And I don't know if that's how trebuchets actually break. It might be, but it's broken now. But it does look like Richard's going to start sending in his Battle Pilgrims. His Men-at-Arms Spearmen as well are going to be engaged against these Longbeards. These Troll Slayers should do a lot of damage. They are multiple HP. They do have a pretty high defense, if I'm not mistaken. They just don't have very good armor. So if they get shot up by those bowmen, there's going to be a lot of casualties there. It does look like over here the Corlers have gotten some melee targets, or sorry guys, some ranged targets over here in the form of these questing knights. And it looks like these questing knights are taking quite a battering, but all this ammunition coming in, only taking like 1 or 2 questing knights out, is not really primely used. He wants to start targeting maybe these trebuchets. He's already able to destroy one of them. That's 25% of all the trebuchets that Richard brought. So if he can take out another unit or 2, that would be really helpful. He has a nice kind of, I guess, defensive position over here. He still has a lot of these stakes out, although he's going to lose his Elders to a Grail Knight charge over here. He's going to lose pretty much every single last Elder. This guy's going to fight in melee for a little while, but he's going to get killed by these Grail Knights. They're just too strong. Over here, the Men-at-Arms Spearmen are going to continue to take a lot of this Grudge Thrower abuse, and then some rear charges, or a rear charge coming from these Grail Knights into these Longbeards with axes. It wasn't terribly effective. I think it killed a few of them, but the Grudge Throwers throwing all this ammo in here into this big mass of Battle Pilgrims and Men-at-Arms Spearmen is going to make a difference. It's going to add up over time, but I don't think these Longbeards are going to come out of this victorious. There are just too few Longbeards in here. They're going to hold, probably fight to the death, but this is a great target for those Grudge Throwers. Although, some nice trebuchet fire coming in from Richard, still hitting some of these Corlers. If he can get a really nice center shot in here, he can wipe out one of these Corler units, or almost effectively wipe them out, to where there's not much left, and they're not going to be too problematic for him. Men-at-Arms still fighting. Grudge Thrower ammo still just smashing through. You can kind of see it bounce in the background and kind of hit that hill over there. Another shot coming over from the trebuchets into his artillery units. I think the artillery units actually blocked a few of those trebuchet fire, or those fiery trebuchet shots. Longbeards with axes are also losing this engagement over here, but like I said earlier, guys, just this mass of Battle Pilgrims and Brettonian infantry is going to be really good for Spyfly. Although Richard is getting some pretty close shots in here, he is kind of missing the mark on these Corlers. I don't know if trebuchets get a little less accurate as they go through their ammo. I don't even know if that's like a real thing. I think I heard something about that maybe in some of the newer Total War games. Vaguely, it kind of rings a bell. Maybe someone suggested that they do that. I'm not sure. But it does seem like they are losing a little bit of accuracy. They're not quite hitting quite as well as they were at the beginning, although that probably is because there's not as many dwarves just smashed into a small little area. The battle pilgrims are going to be charging up along with these men-at-arms spearmen. The long-drawn slayer pirates are going to be over here. They do have these really kind of nice long pistols. They're going to be firing into these Brettonian infantry, but it's not going to be consistent enough. The Quarrelers, however, are going to get some nice shots in here. Those crossbowmen are really taking out a lot of these men-at-arms units. Look like one of them is actually going to rout with only 6 left. That's not going to be too big of a difference, but considering that he's probably losing, you know, 6 to 8 per volley out of these men-at-arms spearmen from those Quarrelers, that's going to add up. Some more of those grudge thrower ammos coming in, or those grudge thrower boulders. I'm not quite sure what you call their ammunition. Knights of the Round Bodyguard are still in the back over here. They're really healthy. I don't think Richard's even like touched them yet. So that should be interesting to see when they come into play, because there's really not much cab left for Richard either. Most of them got shot up by these Quarrelers when they came in and started hitting those Thunderers. When they got a little bit closer, or Spyfly took advantage of that. If you look over here, however, the Peasant Bowmen are really kind of a nice formation, kind of a jaw formation, kind of curving around this, you know, the area that Spyfly has kind of entrenched himself in. But there is a little weak point back here. If Richard was smart enough, he could maybe move his cav in, maybe form them into kind of a thinner formation and then charge them in. But that he would have to do that if there were kind of anything here to get a really decent charge off. If Spyfly just retracted kind of past these grudge throwers, it would be very difficult for Richard to get a consistent charge off. But those Knights of the Round Bodyguard might just be really good in melee. Looks like another trebuchet shot coming in. I don't think he's using flaming ammo anymore for those trebuchets. So we'll have to see if he gets any more kills, or if he's just trying to do a little more line damage. I think the trebuchet's ammo's bounce, although it didn't look like it did there. Sometimes they'll get kind of a really quick double bounce, and it will only appear that they hit the ground once. But it looks like over here that the Peasant Bowmen are still firing in with their fire ammo. I think he'd do maybe a little more damage with just kind of, well, actually over here he is using regular ammo. Looks like, yeah, if you just do regular ammo, you will fire a lot quicker. Although the fire ammo is a lot prettier, and I think the Peasant Bowmen are actually one of the only bowman units in the game that have flaming bow ammo. But in another shot comes from the trebuchet, doing a little bit of damage to this grudge thrower. His grudge throwers have taken a little bit of abuse this game, but I don't think he's lost any of them in terms of actually losing one of the catapults to artillery fire. He is trying to fire away, though, into these Peasant Bowmen, but the fact that the Bowmen are so spread out is really going to negate a lot of this artillery fire from Spyfly. He's only going to be able to kill a few in each volley. If he gets one in here, he might be able to kill like maybe 6 or 7, but it's just not going to be fast enough. It looks like Richard is taking out these Quarrelers a lot quicker. And over here, yeah, here he goes. Richard's going to charge in with his Knights of the Round Bodyguard. Does not look like he got a charge in, but he did manage to hit these Quarrelers. He's going to take them into melee, and they're not going to fire anymore. So that's gonna be pretty important, because if he can keep these Quarrelers from firing, he can hopefully keep them from just wrecking his bowmen or his cavalry. But I don't really see much left. It looks like, yeah, he's got these Knights of the Round Bodyguard, he's got some of these Peasant Bowmen, but I don't really see much infantry left at all. It looks like maybe he's got some trebuchets over there, some of the trebuchet crew, but that's it. This is a really close game. It actually looks like it might be in favor of the Dwarves right now, although Richard has killed more of the enemy, 84% to 78%. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So the Long-Drawn Slayer Pirates are still fighting these Knights of the Round Bodyguard in melee. I think this might go the way of the Pirates, just from the fact that there are more of them in this unit. Actually, no, there aren't. There are not more of these pirates than there are Knights of the Realm. Although the Knights of the Realm are spread out. That's a big thing to consider. If they're spread out like this, it's going to be harder for them or easier for them to kind of get stun locked, and it's going to be harder for them to chew through a single unit of Corlers. But being spread out like this, he is engaged against multiple units of Corlers, so that should keep them from firing at point blank. He might be able to get some point blank shots in here. If he fired in with these Corlers into the Knights of their own bodyguard, he could do a lot of damage. He might even be able to take out several of them in a single volley. I'm pretty sure Knights of the Realm bodyguard also have multiple HP like the regular Knights of the Realm unit, but they just have less. But anyway, the Trebuchet crew is going to be fighting against these Corlers. They're going to do a little bit of damage there. Let's see over here. Looks like some more of these Corlers are still fighting. The Grudge Throwers are fighting as well. The other Trebuchet crews coming in. They're going to get a pretty decent charge, but I think these Corlers are probably gonna out melee them, just from the fact that I think they've got better stats. They've got a shield, so they're going to be a little bit better or a little more defensive in melee. But it looks like these Peasant Bowmen are now moving in for the kill. They've got their little daggers out. They're going to come in, shank some Dwarves in the back. Looks like they're going to kick a few of them too, and do a little bit of damage. But I think the Corlers might also have this melee engagement. Looks like these Brettonian peasants are very tired. They're wavering, and these guys might just rout. And if these rout, it could incur a mass rout. These Trebuchets are pretty healthy. Looks like these Peasant Bowmen way over here are shaken. They're also very tired. They don't have quite as many Corlers to fight through. They only have 13, and the Corlers are shaken as well. Peasant Bowmen are going to charge in over here. This is going to kind of reinforce this flank, and it's getting very close. There's not a lot left on the field, just some Peasant Bowmen and some Corlers kind of fighting. It's pretty much just ranged units against ranged units in a melee engagement. And yeah, this has been one of those matches where it started as a skirmish fight, kind of went into a melee, and then kind of devolved back into a skirmisher fight at the very end until everybody kind of exhausted their ammo. Or at least Brettonia exhausted their ammo and went in and started wailing on the poor Dwarves. And over on this flank, it looks like the Peasant Bowmen are winning the fight, but they are really kind of wussing out here. Some are exhausted. That's really going to be easy to make them rout. If they do, like I said, it could incur a mass rout for Brettonia, and that would be really bad if all of his Peasant Bowmen start routing. I really think the Dwarves can take this game, especially if he's able to get some of his Corlers to fire in close range. There's not a lot of pirates left. There's not as many Knights of the Realm left either, though. It looks like the pirates have been kind of taking out the Knights of the Realm. Only 7 left, only 3 of the Knights of the Realm over here, so they're very spread out, they're very isolated, and they are getting just chewed up. So this has actually been a very close game. Usually Dwarves are pretty bad in a field battle, and they just don't do that well, especially against factions like Brettonia, which are kind of a heavy cav faction and have decent infantry and have those trebuchets, which are just monstrous. So I think Spyfly played very good this game. He still has a chance to win this. The Peasant Bowmen are coming in. It doesn't look like they're quite as, well, some of them are still pretty bad with morale, mostly shaken. I did see one guy wavering, but I think they went back up to shaken again. And now this is actually looking a little bad for Spyfly. Corlers are coming in, so are the trebuchets, and this melee engagement's still going on. This is going to be really close. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody routs this fight, if the Peasant Bowman routes. That could be a big game changer, but it's looking bleaker and bleaker for the Dwarves. There's less and less of them. It's currently 89% to 96%, so again, very close game. Oh my god, here we go. 34 of the Peasant Bowmen are routing. That's going to be a big deal. That's a lot of Peasant Bowmen to have routing, although the balance power has shifted extremely far in Richard's favor. And it looks like the Corlers are routing over here too, 25 of them. So both of these armies have units mass routing, and not really mass routing, I would say. These guys, that's only 1 unit of each, but when you have so few units, that's a big deal. Grudge Throwers over here. It looks like this is all that's really left of the Dwarven infantry, or the Dwarven army, for that matter. And it looks like Richard's probably going to take this one. It's a very close game, though. Grudge Throwers are still having a little bit of trouble. They're getting stabbed by these Peasant Bowmen, and cut up by this single Knights of the Realm bodyguard. I wonder, it would be cool if this guy has managed to live. It looks like he might. Looks like he's going to live. So 1 Knights of the Realm left. in charge of his kind of little peasant mob that he ended up having there. So that was a really good game, guys. I want to congratulate both players for a well-fought game. It's not often that you see Dwarves hold so well against Brettonia, and again, it was very, very close. We'll take a look at the kills for Brettonia. 239 for the Trebuchet, and then 179. Certainly a lot there. Knights of the Realm Bodyguard getting 90 kills. The Cav really didn't get that much kills, considering Cav usually gets, 100-plus kills. Peasant Bowman did pretty good this game as well. 94, 52, 64, and 70. That's not bad for Bowman units. And everything else is pretty average for Brettonia. But anyway, guys, I hope you all liked this replay. Like I said earlier, hopefully 1.5 is going to be coming out very, very soon. And I will hopefully have another replay for you guys ready within the next couple days. So we'll see. And anyway, hope you all liked it, and I hope you guys have a great day.